Hey everybody, Joe Lowry, what a day. Happy Monday out there. We survived the weekend, and the weekend is in the rearview mirror. And today is September 18th, and it's National Cheeseburger Day. That's right, as well as National Air Force Day. Well, there you go. Well, the New England Patriots seem to have roared themselves back from the depths of hell as they defeated the New Orleans Saints yesterday 36-20. Tom Brady threw for 447 yards and for the first time in his 18-year career scored 3 touchdowns in one quarter. I find that stat very surprising, seeing he has set so many other records. But hey, nonetheless, a win is a win, but it did come at a price. Tight end Rob Gronkowski left the game. He was already having a monster of a game. Left it with a groin injury. Wide receiver Burkett having a great game. Left with a rib injury. And running back Dorsett tweaked an ankle. Of course, we'll not know the cost of these injuries until tomorrow. But it appears now more than ever that Patriots need a wide receiver before this Sunday as Houston comes to town. And that game is at Gillette Stadium this Sunday. And, of course, still no word on whether Danny Amendola will be cleared to play, as well as defensive lineman Dante Hightower. Meanwhile, down in Tampa, the Red Sox took 2 out of 3 from the Rays this weekend. All in all, the Sox lead the AL East by 3 games. The magic number to clinch a playoff spot is now 5. Of course, 11 to clinch the division. Any combination of a Red Sox winner, Yankee loss lowers that magic number, of course. Sox travel to Baltimore for a 3-game series. Doug Fister takes the hill tonight. Well, the Bruins start their preseason adventure tonight, as well as a matchup against arch-rival nemesis Montreal Canadiens at the Boston Garden. This will be a good tune-up for the young Bruins as they face their former head coach Claude Julien. Look for the pairing of Pasternak and Krejci to make some noise this season. No doubt, a lot of youth is going to be stacked for the Bruins. In sad news out of the world of professional wrestling yesterday is WWE Hall of Famer, former wrestler, and outspoken manager Bobby the Brain Heenan passed away this weekend. The Brain was also known as the Weasel and was known throughout the wrestling world. He was a wrestler who was known to bait the crowd, and he was best known as the manager of AWA champion Nick Bockwinkel. He would always weasel out a win for his proteges. Back in 1984, when the WWE was on fire, it didn't take long for Vince to obtain the services of the Brain. He managed men who were larger than life. That's right, from Big John Studd to King Kong Bundy. And who could forget that it was Bobby Heenan who provoked Andre the Giant into turning into a bad guy to go after Hulk Hogan's world title at WrestleMania 3 in front of 97,000 plus fans at Detroit's Pontiac Silverdome. His stable of wrestlers were often called the Heenan family, and they were unparalleled to none. And then in the mid-'80s, pay dirt was hit again, and he was thrown behind the announcer's table with Gorilla Monsoon. It was pure magic with those two, as they actually had their own show called Prime Time Wrestling. That's right. They were so popular that in the Prime Time Wrestling era that those two actually had more airtime than a lot of wrestlers combined. That's right. And as the 80s ended, the WWF headed into another direction. The Brain left to join up with WCW, the arch-rival promotion. And during a time when it was taboo to mention another wrestling promotion, it was then that the heartfelt Bobby Heenan paid tribute to his former WWF co-host, Gorilla Monsoon. When learning upon his former partner's passing, Heenan's most famous quote that evening was, "The gates of heaven have been renamed the pearly gates to the gorilla position." The gorilla position is referred to as the tunnel between backstage and the entrance ramp leading into the ring, aptly named after Gorilla Monsoon. Just like every generational superstar, there comes a time when the old makes way for the new. Bobby Heenan actually wrote 2 books, and he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004. And on the evening of WrestleMania 22, his friendship with Monsoon was so close, he said the only person missing at the induction ceremony was Gorilla himself. Bobby Heenan today is still considered the greatest pro wrestling manager of all time. Again, Bobby Heenan passes away from throat cancer at the age of 73. Rest in peace, Bobby Heenan. And last week we spoke about Lady Gaga's documentary called 5'5", in which she explains her series about grappling with her disease fibromyalgia. The series is set to debut later this month on Netflix, but news out of the UK is that Lady Gaga is postponing her European leg of her Joanne tour due to severe pain. That's right, she's in the hospital with this very disease. She's currently under the care of several doctors who are monitoring her struggles. The latest news comes days after Gaga was hospitalized and had to cancel a planned performance at the Rock in Rio Music Festival in Brazil. Get well, Gaga. Well, as expected, Donald Trump will be addressing the U.S. Assembly later on in the UN this week, and all eyes, rest assured, will be on what to do with North Korea as well as Iran. Now, Iranian President Rouhani was interviewed by CNN earlier this week and basically told Donald Trump that if they scrapped the nuclear deal that then President Obama agreement gave them, then the U.S. would pay a high price. Can you believe this? Donald Trump is not shy when it comes to referring to this deal as the worst deal ever made. This story is surely to unravel as the days and weeks unwind. Well, as New England's get ready to weather Hurricane Jose later this week, Hurricane Maria is rapidly right behind it as it took an aim at Puerto Rico, and right now it's at a Category 4 with winds sustained at 128 miles an hour. This is just in. And for the first time in 84 years, Puerto Rico is expected to suffer a direct landfall Category 4 hurricane. This is crazy. Puerto Rico's governor has declared a state of emergency, and he basically told everybody that preparations from this storm need to end now. Seek shelter, be safe. What a hurricane season it has no doubt been. Well, I'm not sure about you, but for some people, I'd be a little concerned that hackers managed to capture 140 million people's social security number, as well as other pertinent information via Equifax. That's right. You know Equifax, one of the 3 major credit bureaus in determining someone's credit score. Seems kind of lopsided that this would happen to a company who probably should have the tightest security online. What in the world's going on over there? What they do know is it came from a flaw in a tool designed to build web applications. Equifax admitted it was aware of the security flaw 2 months before the company says hijackers gained access to its data. So they knew 2 months before, and they didn't do it and let anybody know or do anything about this. This is insane. I smell lawsuit. That's what I smell. Well, something I always fear has actually happened. Numerous medical professionals were disciplined for viewing patients' genitals while they were unconscious or deceased. That's right. According to a report earlier today coming out, 2 major U.S. health systems in December, a man went to University of Pittsburgh Medical Center Hospital for surgery to remove a foreign body that caused a genital injury. Well, a crowd at the UPMC Bedford nurses and doctors lined up at the door of their operating room to take photos and videos of the man's genitalia. That's right. This is while he was under anesthesia. The material taken on they actually took videos on their cell phones that had no clinical justification. Am I reading this right? Are you kidding me? Sources say a couple of the employees of the room tried to curb the situation and stop the photos. They said, "We are a small hospital. It's commonplace for everyone in the facility to know what's coming and going on. It was a medical curiosity. I respected the patient. I did say to stop. This is a HIPAA violation. I could not hold anyone back. In the spirit of the medical anomaly, I told them they could come in once the patient was asleep." Okay, so it's okay to take photos of the guy's genitals when he's asleep, but not while he's under anesthesia. Anybody see where I'm going with this? Am I hearing what I'm hearing? Anyways, hospital officials flagged the incident to the Pennsylvania Department of Health, launching a state and internal investigation. The hospital's CEO initially issued a 7-day suspension to the attending physician, and another physician who was in the room received another one as well. And when the internal committee completed its investigation, the attending physician, as well as the other guy, received an additional week of suspension and a few mandatory hours of HIPAA training. I mean, you think? They took a pic of the man's stink without a wink. They caused a stink. I don't get it. Didn't everyone know that? Even stop to think? This is unreal. Anyways. Well, back to school time, and let's not forget the North Quincy High School 30-year reunion. That's right, that's taking place November 24th at the Quincy Lodge of Elks Terrell Room, 7 to midnight. Food, fun, trivia, music to take us back to the 80s with. Please visit NQHS 87 Facebook page where you can find it all, the details. Purchase tickets. Actually, there are hotel rooms blocked off for this special occasion. What hotels are they? Well, you just have to go on the Facebook page and find out and purchase your tickets while you're there. And finally, folks, tomorrow, Brocktonian residents, you have a chance to make a difference. The preliminary voting is underway just hours from now. Polls open at 7 a.m. Who are you voting for? I can recommend one candidate. Joanne Cody, that's right. Joanne Cody for mayor, Facebook page. Check it out. John Pemberton, the campaign manager, doing a miraculous job with these people. I'm telling you, you got to check out the candidates. All their profiles are actually online, folks, but got to check it out. Joanne Cody for mayor of Brockton. Well, finally, you got to visit my YouTube page. www.youtube.com/Joe Lowry. What a day. You got to check it out. It's free. Did I mention it's free? It's always free. Come on by, visit us. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm tired. I might go to bed after this. I don't know. What a day.